Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lucore Automotive. Today we are talking about not that thing. We're talking about that thing. You know that time when you've started a project and you're like, it's just going to be this one little thing. I'm just going to do this one thing and then it's all done. And then another thing, and then maybe I got to do something else to support something else, and then I got to do something else to support something else. And then all of a sudden the project has spiraled out of control. Well, that is this little Falcon project. Initially, this customer came to us to do a simple 302 swap in his Ford Falcon that you see back there. He's had this car for a number of years. We happen to have a 302 available for sale. He wanted us to do the swap. Sure, no big deal. Then it showed up, and it was a inline 6, automatic, 4-lug, not ready for a nasty 302 car. So we had to talk to Mr. Customer, and Mr. Customer and we got our heads together and decided, let's build a car. So let's build a car. This is the little 6-cylinder that came in this thing with that tiny little carburetor on the top there. It did a decent job. It moved this car down the road, but it's not exactly fun, and it's not exactly hot rod. And no, we're not putting my 304 in it. This is a little late model Ford 302 with serpentine set up on it that's been sitting back in the shop for a number of years. If you have been a fan of ours for a very, very long time, you would have seen this run on the dyno a long time ago. We had a project it was going to be used for. That project fell through, so we just ended up with this motor, and you know what? Dagnabbit, it's going to be a perfect fit for a little Ford Falcon. Now, we could have just gotten some 302 motor mounts, right? You could do that. You could just get a setup to be able to bolt this 302 into this thing and call it a day. However, as I mentioned, this was not exactly a hot roddy vehicle. It had old school suspension on it. It had drum brakes on it, 4-lug. Not so great. So we talked with Mr. Customer. Mr. Customer, the ideal way to do this would be replace the entire front subframe of this car, replace it with some more modern suspension underneath it, with more modern brakes underneath the front of it, to be able to support the new V8 and stop this thing. Also, while we're there, you are planning on doing a 5-speed swap with this thing. So now we're ending up doing a T5 swap on it. So at the moment, you can see that we have begun the teardown process of this car. Front's pretty much removed. Engine's obviously already on the ground over there. And it's a pretty solid car. This gentleman, I believe, has owned this car for like 20 years. And it's just to the point now where he just, you know, it's getting its love and attention. Now, in addition to the 302 swap, as I said, we are going to be doing a T5 manual swap as well. So this is going to end up with a little T5 sitting right there. Otherwise, I mean, this thing is pretty dang clean, as you can see. Pretty dang clean. It's been well cared for over its life. Now, the other question is, once you get to the back of the car, Mr. Customer, that little stick of an axle in the rear cannot handle what we're going to ask for. So, Mr. Customer bought a new Ford 9-inch for it. Now, this is a custom shortened rear end, specifically for the Falcon, and it will do a fantastic job. It gives us our 5-lug conversion, and it is a not quite pre-built unit, but it is built for it, so we had to do some assembly to get this thing together. But it's going to be a perfect fit for our rear end. It is 5-lug converted already, so we're going to be able to run a modern wheel and tire setup on this thing. We're not doing anything super crazy with the rear suspension on this car, and the front is not going to be coilover. It's going to be coil and shock. A lot of times when you go coilover, you do tend to sacrifice some ride quality for something that's going to be not used as a race car, but more of a street cruisy car. The coil and shock setup is going to be a good setup. TCI, total cost involved, happens to have the whole kit for this thing. So we've got a whole brand new front suspension system that's going to go in this. Whole new front subframe that goes in this. We've got to cut out the inner fender wells. We got to cut out There's a lot of surgery that's going to be involved in this thing. And that's kind of at the point where we are right now. Now, this car is not going to be, as I said, a race car. This is going to be a fun little streetable car. But it's going to be on a more modern suspension, new set of wheels and tires, a Ford 9-inch, a 5-speed manual transmission in the middle. It's going to have Holley EFI on it, so it's going to be able to be a super easy cruiser. It's going to be a great car, honestly, for like a power tour type of thing. Or just even cruising the car shows. It's a cool car. It's a cool car. It's very clean. It's going to turn into a heck of a project, but it's a heck of a big project. We had not really planned on going anywhere near this big with this car when we initially had the conversation. But in order to make this make sense, you don't just stick a 302 in this thing and say good luck to that automatic transmission that's going to try to hold on to it. You don't just stick a 302 and a 5-speed in it and say good luck trying to stop it or try to not break that rear end that's in this car. If you're going to do it, you do it right. As we always say, if you're going to do it once, do it right. Because otherwise we're going to build a car that a customer's going to hate, or that's not going to be able to handle what the customer's going to ask for. He's going to end up breaking stuff, and then we end up in a whole big crazy situation. So this is our first project of 2024. And this is what you're going to see us put together. So at the moment, as you can see, it is basically completely torn apart and getting ready to be even more torn apart, because Rich has got to do a bunch of cutting to get everything out of this thing to then start fitting in the TCI kit. But that is going to be what you're going to start out 2024 with us. And then we have a 1968 Barracuda, which hopefully you guys noticed that video the other day, the little yellow Cuda. That's going to be project number 2 for the year. We have the engine is being built at the moment for it. We're waiting on that. Should be another 2 months or so for that, maybe 3 months for that motor to show up. And then the transmission is at Dion Vickers' place, Vickers Transmissions. So he's rebuilding us a transmission to be able to handle the new 360 Mopar that's going in that. And then we have a couple of other projects that are already built in the line for next year. But project number 1 of most important is this cute little 1964 Ford Falcon. It's going to be a fun little car. It's a lot of work, but it's going to end up being a fun little car. So that's what you guys are going to see from us here in the project world next. This is officially, I guess, our last video. Yes, this will be our last video of 2023. So I want to say, on behalf of everybody here at Lucore Automotive, you all have been wonderful people. I really appreciate you. Rich really appreciates you. Everybody here really appreciates you guys paying attention to little bits we do, the cars we work on, the projects we get tapped in to be able to fix, builds we do of customer stuff or our own stuff, the road trips we take, going along on power tour and that kind of stuff, going along on the PRI adventure with me. It's very flattering that you guys all watch what we do. We are just a normal shop here in Central Ohio. We do normal stuff. The Volkswagen, okay, there's a big block Nova over there on the dyno, but Yukon truck, little Toyota RAV4. We are just a normal little shop. This is not a hot rod shop. This is not a TV show shop. We are just a normal shop that does normal stuff. We just happen to put it on the internet. And the fact that there are 37,000 of you that are interested in what we do and that support us and that watch our videos is extremely, extremely, extremely humbling. We know that there's a lot of other folks that do the kind of things that we do that don't get the kind of attention that we do, and we very much appreciate that. We appreciate all the partners that we've been able to partner with, the people we've been able to build things with and work for, the people that come in and have their vehicles done, and even if it's something as small as an oil change or a tire rotation or a suspension setup or whatever the case, all of you guys, all of you gals, help keep these lights on. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to do what it is we do. We wouldn't have projects like this that come to us, or that Jeep, or that Nova. We wouldn't have that. So it's very humbling. We appreciate you guys very, very much. We are going to bust our butts in 2024 to one-up ourselves and how we did in 2023. I said this at the end of last year, that 2022 was the best year we'd ever had in business. We did more business than we'd ever done before, and we had more YouTube viewership than we'd ever had before. Well, Wouldn't you know it, 2023, we've done more business in 2023 than we've ever done before. We've done more YouTube revenue than we've ever done before, and that is directly thanks to you folks. So from all of us here at Lucore Automotive to all of you, thank you all very, very much. We look forward to a great next year with you guys. We hope you have a wonderful New Year's Eve, and we will be back at work on Tuesday working on something. I don't know what that'll be yet, but we'll be working on something. I am not going to be putting out a video on New Year's Day because I'm not going to do that. It just doesn't make any sense. I put up a video on Christmas Day and nobody cares. You guys should be spending time with somebody else. But I will be back on it on Wednesday. We will have something up. We've got a couple of vehicles that are already scheduled for next week as far as fun car stuff, so we'll see if we get one of those guys on camera or if we just strap Rich to the Ford Falcon and make him work for the rest of the day. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for a great year. Thank you so much for supporting us and being here for us. We're very, very excited about this Ford Falcon project. It's a little bit bigger than what we usually do. Typically speaking, we don't take something on like this, especially with how busy we are. But it's the right thing to do, and it's something we think will be interesting. So we will document the process all the way from right here until it's running and out the door. So if you're interested in the Ford Falcon project, 1964 Ford Falcon Futura, we're going to bring you on. We're going to build it, start to finish, top to bottom, soup to nuts, grill to taillights. Thanks for being here, folks. We'll see you after the New Year's. Happy New Year. We'll take care. Bye-bye.